If you want to master any topic and build the skills that help you to continuously grow and find more flow, then meditation is the link between honing your focus and mastering your craft. This is the start of Mindful March, so set a goal for yourself to meditate every day this month. The skill and practice of meditation is going to make virtually everything else in your life better. And the reason that I wanted to talk about this topic and build a practice and challenge around meditation this month is that last year I fell way off on continuously and consistently meditating, which I've always found to be a superpower that we have within ourselves and something that made my life a whole lot better. And it just so happened to coincide with the worst year of my life. And so I was trying to figure out why it was that I fell off the wagon, so to speak, on meditating consistently, and what we can do in order to build this skill back in, because it is so valuable to finding flow and to mastering whatever craft you want to focus on the most. And I get it that meditation is kind of like that hidden superpower, because we know and we're told that it's so beneficial for us, but we often don't see the effects until we really need them. And so that's one of the things that makes it really hard to consistently practice and take those 10 to 15 minutes of time out of your day every day. That's probably why, I used the excuse that I was too busy and had too much going on, or it just wasn't working for me last year when I stopped practicing as consistently. And what it led to was experiencing more anxiety and just not being as in control of emotions and anger and things like that, or feeling more irritable. Whereas even since the start of the year, when I brought meditation back in as a daily practice, I've found that it's so much more realistic to control those emotions and not get irritated over the slightest thing. And it's also really important for preventing burnout and focusing on whatever it is that you want to perform your very best at. So this is why I think it's one of those key skills that we need to build up when it comes to finding flow and being more intentional with the things that we do, both in our work and in our leisure time. So getting back on track to me was important for getting control of that anxiety and making sure that I was focusing on doing the work that I value doing the most, rather than just getting distracted and scrolling through social media or doing something like checking email or other low value tasks, rather than taking a few minutes to sit sometimes in the discomfort that we have to go through in order to get into flow and do those more challenging parts to our work. So seeing how quickly this ability to rein in my focus and be more present and also perform at my very best and heighten that sense of creativity, all of these things that have kind of come back to me in the last couple of months since I've started practicing meditation again every day, is what made me realize it's important to offer this as, a sort of challenge and a call to action for everybody else that I think can really benefit from this hidden superpower. Whether you already have a consistent meditation practice, or you've never meditated before, or you're somewhere in between and like me, you got way off track. I think that March, a couple months into the year, we've kind of either fallen completely off track with our resolutions, or we're doing really well. But it's a kind of time and transition period to a new season where we do feel a little bit of that inspiration to really dig into something important in our lives. So that's where I think meditation kind of comes into play really well with the month of March. And one of the things to me that made it easy to fall off track with meditation and use the excuse that it wasn't working was, if you're tired and you're trying to sit down and meditate it can be really easy to just let your thoughts run wild and not try to hone in that focus and practice traditional mindfulness of, acknowledging the thoughts and then letting them pass by. So, one of the things that made it a little more realistic for me to reintroduce meditation and stay on track with it was using the Muse headband. So, this is a meditation headband I've talked about in a video before. So, what the Muse does is it uses biofeedback in the forms of reading your brainwave signals while you're meditating and you're listening to a soundscape. It can be like a rainforest or a beach. And when you hear the waves pick up the noise of the beach surrounding you, it's a signal that your brain is getting more distracted or active, versus as the waves calm down and the wind on the beach settles down, this is a sign that you're in a meditative state. And then you get these signals of birds chirping as a way to sort of reward you and keep you on track with being in that mindful state. So some people love using objective measurements with their, self-improvement skills or practices like meditation or exercise. Maybe it's tracking your sleep. All these different things can be really great, and some people don't love it. They like more of that subjective feeling of just knowing they're on track or making progress. To me, I think it was one of the things that helped me to get back on track with meditation was using a tool or a device that kind of helped me to stay in focus and not just fall asleep or take it as like a nap time when I was trying to practice meditation. And it kind of quantified that what I was doing was actually helpful and working for training my brain to be in more of that focused state. So it has been very helpful for the last little bit. I will say that with Muse, they also have a pretty great meditation app that has a lot of free stuff on it, so you don't have to necessarily buy the Muse device in order to make use of some of their challenges that they do. And when you enter in one of their challenges, you join in on a giveaway that allows you to possibly win one of these headsets for yourself each month. So again, I think for the right person who likes more objective tracking of things, the Muse headband is a very useful tool to include if you're trying to reboot your meditation practice. But otherwise, use a simple tracker in your journal or on whatever app that helps you to stay on track with habits, and just make sure that you are checking off the box to do your meditation each day. And another thing to think about or consider that I think is a deterrent to a lot of people getting into meditation is maybe the comfort and the position that you're in. So I suffered a herniation and a disc in my low back at Christmas time at the end of last year. And if I had tried to just do a traditional seated meditation, I think, and I know that I would have been too uncomfortable and in too much pain at the start of this year in order to stay on track with it. So I actually lay down on my bed and use the Muse headband and kind of replace my typical sort of idea of a nap time in the afternoon with this meditation time. So even if I were to get off track and not be meditating, it's a good chance to have like a 15-minute power nap. But by using the Muse and having it sort of guide me back into the focused state, at least I'm not falling asleep or just letting my mind completely, get out of control while in that attempted meditation time. So if you're going to take action and join in on this meditation challenge because you think it's going to help you in your life, think about some of these specifics and decide on them before jumping into it at the start of March. So how long are you going to be able to meditate each session? Make sure that you're not biting off more than you can chew, but make it long enough that it's going to have a meaningful difference. Usually a minimum of 8 minutes. I'd say just put it to 10 minutes is ideal. And for me, I was confident that I could stick with 15 very realistically. Where are you going to do it? So again, I've decided for myself that laying down in my bed is the best place for the comfort and position that I kind of need to be in order to stay focused and not be in pain. When are you going to do it is another important factor. I use this as a way to sort of skip out on doing like an afternoon nap time or mental break from work. I never found it useful to do first thing in the morning. I was ready to jump into work, and so my mind would be all over the place, or I would just fall back asleep and not really be in a focused state. And then the same thing towards the end of the night for myself. I'm just kind of like ready to fall asleep, and typically do if I try to meditate right at the end of the night. So for me, that mid-afternoon, I have the chance typically and have been consistent so far, so it's working well to do it then. And also figure out what format works for you. Are you going to use like a mindfulness meditation? We can talk more, and if you join the Finding Flow newsletter, I'm going to talk more this month about some of the skills or some of the other practices we can do, like walking meditations, and the idea of the driven meditation from the book Driven by Douglas Brackman. Some of these different ways that we can incorporate mindfulness practices if you don't love the idea of the traditional seated meditation. So those are going to be a couple of other things to consider, is this idea of what format you're going to meditate in and how's it going to work for you. But I strongly encourage you to try to include some sort of seated meditation. It can be with transcendental, so having a mantra that you repeat to yourself, or focusing on your breath and just following that breath as you go through it. Or if you do choose to use the Muse headband, it's got some different styles of meditations you can use. I really like using those mind guided ones where you're trying to calm your mind and the soundscape around you. It's also got one that's sort of a heart breathing practice to build cardiac coherence, which is another powerful skill for getting into more of that loving kindness style meditation and syncing your heartbeat with your brain waves. And by doing that one, it's really calming and relaxing too. And I kind of find that sometimes my mind will settle down even more by doing the heart guided breathing rather than just the soundscapes for the mind. And so Muse has a lot of cool options like that, as well as the classic guided meditations that you can follow through and then just have silence, or follow through like a complete guided meditation for the whole session. A few of the other apps to consider, depending on what works best for you, is there's lots of videos here on YouTube that you can check out that are guided meditations. Sometimes they'll be from your favorite, self-help people or meditation practitioners. Insight Timer is also great if you want just the audio of a lot of those ones that you'll find that are publicly available. Waking Up is another one. I like the 30-day or the 45-day introduction series that is on Waking Up, as well as Headspace can be great for a lot of beginner meditators. And then, like I mentioned, Muse, you can actually use their app for free too. And they typically do like a challenge week or 10 days of free guided meditations every month. So those might be some to check out. I think it's important to play around with the different apps or the different guided meditations that you use, because sometimes you'll find the one that really clicks and gets you into that focused and calm state to help you de-stress and really just sort of experience all that meditation can bring to you. So I'd love to know, what are your thoughts on meditation? Do you have a regular practice already? Have you gotten off track with a meditation practice that you want to get back on track on? Are you going to join in on this mindfulness challenge for March? Or do you have no interest whatsoever in meditation? That's likely not the type of person that stuck around for the length of this video and is a part of our group on finding flow, but it's possible too. So let me know in the comments below what are your thoughts, and I will talk to you again soon in the next video.